Hi, everybody. My name is Elektra Yao, and I'm an immigration attorney. I'm here today with Inara, and we are going to talk about what everybody has been thinking and feeling about. We're going to talk about the election and what that means for immigrants, what that means for families that have immigrants in them, and what that means in general for America. So let me just introduce myself. My name is, like I said, Elektra. I have offices here in New York and in New Jersey. We work with the whole immigrant community. So we work with artists, entertainers, families, the undocumented population, and we really are dedicated to our mission. And we think that this is going to be a really great discussion because a lot of people don't have answers. A lot of people are emailing me because they can't get in touch with their lawyers. And now more than ever, it's important to know the facts, it's important to communicate, and it's important to really listen to leaders who can properly guide you. So, Inara, why don't you tell us about you and your practice?
Hey guys, hey Elektra, nice to see you again. My name is Inara. I'm an immigration attorney located in Queens, New York. I'm in Maspeth in the center of Queens, and I'm conveniently located next to Manhattan 26 Federal Plaza Immigration, USCIS and Immigration Court. I do family-based immigration. I'm also actually a real estate attorney, but majority of my practice is immigration, and I help my community, everyone who lives in the surrounding cities and near Maspeth. And of course, I have clients from all the boroughs, but that's primarily are the immigrants who I assist with their immigration needs. I'm happy to join you with your lives. Thank you for pushing me to do it because without you, I would have done it.
Absolutely. I love supporting other women attorneys. So, Colt, one day, I see your question, but before we go into your question, I want you guys to really connect with us and to really understand who we are. I wanted to give a fun fact about myself, and feel free to ask questions throughout the live if you're curious or you want to know more about me or Inara and what we do. But I'm going to tell you a fun fact about myself. A really fun fact about me is that I love to eat, but I don't know how to cook. And actually, when I was younger, I tried to cook meat, and I actually lit the table on fire. So now I am banned from cooking in my house.
Oh, that's funny, Electra. Fun fact about me. Well, two. I love makeup and I have tattoos and I love them. My mother was against us getting any tattoos when we were younger or piercing. So when I was 36, I decided to get a tattoo and a nose piercing. Hello.
That's awesome. I had my nose pierced and my lip pierced when I was in college. So, first one day, why are we worried about the election? Well, me personally, I think that the election is not something to be worried about, but I think that everybody should be aware of what the potential climate will be. But to understand the potential climate, you really need to understand the current situation and what it means to a lot of different people. So, under the current administration, there's so much change going on, specifically with regard to immigrants. And our country, America, is founded on the notion of immigrants and work and perseverance. I'm the daughter of immigrants. My dad is from Cote d'Ivoire. My mom is from Italy. My husband is an immigrant from Italy. So a lot of the changes, the recent changes that we've been seeing in immigration, have not been for this mission of America of supporting immigrants and supporting our workforce. So it's really important to understand that now so that you can be critical about what can potentially happen. So I'm sure you've heard about the travel ban through the proclamation. For the area that I practice very closely, there's been a major change in the law in terms of how cases are decided. So one major change for the artist visa is now the artist visa is going to have a different or more complex analysis that will make it more difficult for these international talents and creative professionals to come and work here in New York. Also, I personally believe, and feel free to jump in and comment, I personally believe that we are in a climate that is very anti-immigrant. And that is a sentiment that is personal, to a lot of families. A lot of families have a mixture of nationalities, and that's hurtful to our educational institutions, our universities that have a lot of international students, and it's hurtful to the American workforce. So being anti-immigrant and not understanding the repercussions of the changes in these laws is almost akin to being anti-American. So, Colts J, I think that was a great question, and Inara, let us know what you think.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. I'm an immigrant myself. I came here when I was 21 years old, and as an immigrant, I have a lot of goals and aspirations, and wanted to become an attorney here. So I did everything I needed to do so. And the country back in the day was so welcoming. I was able to do everything that I needed to do to achieve my goals here. And nowadays, it almost feels like it's impossible. It's like fighting through all the obstacles that exist at this point, no matter if you are doing things the right way or you're not. So it's essentially, it's completely different now and difficult. And I feel for the immigrants. I get a lot of phone calls from my clients that are so worried about everything, every little thing they hear on the news. I feel like they're not understanding what's happening. So I get a phone call at 9 o'clock in the evening after something has been posted or tweeted or on the news, and I have a client who is completely freaking out. So, this is not what America is known for. We welcome immigrants. All of us are immigrants. I'm an immigrant. My sister's an immigrant. We're both attorneys. We're doing what we need to do, and we benefit this country, you as well. So, I think that in the last 4 years, it's just been nonstop attack, not just on illegal immigration, but also legal immigration. It's just, it's so disappointing, to be honest with you. It's heartbreaking to see my clients so worried over little things, like, for instance, public charge. I mean, there was injunction back and forth. Yes, public charge, no public charge. So now the public charge is in effect. And it's, how do you explain to a client that if you ever fell short or your husband lost a job and you needed to apply for a food stamp to feed your children, that now you may be prevented from getting a green card? How do you explain that to a person? I'm speechless. I really am. With all the changes.
So we got another comment from Colts 1J. I think that that's a great and valid question. This is not the forum nor the platform to discuss the elimination of borders, because it really has nothing to do with our topic at hand. So if you really want to discuss or participate in our discussion, which is about the current immigration climate and the fears that people have, whether they're immigrants or Americans, I'm an American, and I'm very concerned about the future of America, then please feel free to ask a question. But I don't know if you're trolling us. If you are trolling us, this is really not the forum, and you should move on. And if you want to have a conversation with us and engage with us, then you should ask questions specifically about the topic at hand, which is the current immigration climate and the elections that are going to be happening in the future, and how those elections will possibly impact America, immigrants, and American citizens.
Yes.
So I think that you brought up a really great point about what really is the heart of our discussion today: the sense of anxiety, the sense of fear, the sense of not being understood.
Unknown, really.
This is something that lots of people are currently feeling right now. So I can tell you that, for example, today I actually just got a phone call about somebody who is interested in trying to consular process. So basically what that means is the consulates are accepting—
We can hear you. Come closer a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. So consulates are basically, some of them are accepting interviews, some of them are not really organizing interviews yet, and some are getting actually denied for their visa stamping. So I think that it's important also to understand the climate in terms of what's happening here in the U.S. and how the law is applied at the consulates abroad. For lots of people, for example, for those who have waivers and need to get them approved at the consulate, we really need those consulates to be open so these cases can be processed. So think about, for example, K-1 visas, people who are waiting for their fiancés, or international workers that are supposed to come to the U.S. and work. It's a very, very unsure time for lots of people. And I think the best thing that we can do as attorneys is to just try to present what the facts are and what the current law is to our clients, and to try to assure them and help them understand that there is always a solution. As attorneys, I think that we are really great at coming up with out-of-the-box solutions to satisfy the needs of our clients. So one thing that I do, just like you, Inara, is I really talk about, how we can move forward with the current climate.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I do that almost every day, phone call after phone call of clients that are anxious. They don't know what's going on. I have a client who had a K-1 basically approved, and we've been waiting for the last 8 months for the consulate to schedule an interview for his wife and his stepchild. And he's really anxious and concerned about it. And it's just this, at this point, what I do know is that K-1s are not subject to the to proclamation. So, but yet there are closures, and non-issuance of visas. So definitely, clients are very anxious about the elections and about their future, about their status and their loved ones that then, they're not able to come and join them here in America. It's very troublesome, but, I'm trying to do my best to calm all my clients, to help them as much as we can.
Yeah, I just want to shout out a couple of people who joined us. Hi, Abraham. Thank you so much for saying hi and listening.
Hi, Abraham.
Hi, Simon. Thanks also for listening. I don't know if our viewers know this, Inara, but you and I are both trilingual and speak multiple languages. So how about we give a shout out to those who maybe are not, who don't speak English in the languages that we speak, so that we can be very, very inclusive of our audience.
I speak Russian and Turkish, so привет and merhaba, nasılsınız? So if anyone, is there and needs assistance, we are able to accommodate in multiple languages. I also have a Spanish-speaking assistant working, so that would be, beneficial to us.
Yeah, great. Bonjour à tous, bonjour frères et sœurs qui sont au pays, bonjour à tout le monde qui parle français. Merci d'avoir écouté mon live avec l'avocate Maître Inara. Nous sommes ici à New York et New Jersey pour vous aider avec tous vos problèmes d'immigration. Je parle couramment français, comme vous savez, parce que mon père, il est ivoirien. Et j'aimerais, si vous avez des questions, vous avez des demandes à poser, s'il vous plaît, écrivez dans les commentaires, envoyez-moi un email. Mon email, c'est elektra@yaolawgroup.com. Buongiorno a tutti, so che magari in Europa è un po' tardi adesso, sono è quasi mezzogiorno, sono 11:15, quindi sarà un po' tardi nel pomeriggio in Europa. Vorrei salutarvi. So che ci sono tantissimi imprenditori che lavorano qui a New York e a New Jersey, imprenditori italiani. Credo che è molto importante che voi sapete che noi siamo qui, diamo un supporto, un sostegno a tutti gli imprenditori, tutti studenti, tutti artisti italiani che stanno qui negli Stati Uniti. Se avete delle domande per quanto riguarda il consolato o per quanto riguarda quello che sta succedendo adesso sul territorio americano, non esitate a mandarmi un messaggio. Hola a todos. Me gusta que vosotros están aquí para escuchar mi live. Oh, thank you so much, Nan. We have a little bit of technical difficulties because this is new technology, as you guys at home are aware. Sometimes speaking live comports some difficulties, but I'll try to be very, very conscientious of when there is.
My sister, Elektra, she's watching us.
Who?
My sister. She said we have a little bit of echo when Elektra speaks.
Yeah, I put it up on the live. Maria Sanchez, thank you so much for coming to watch our live. For those of you watching, Maria Sanchez is also an excellent immigration attorney, fluent in Spanish as well. I also have clients, she comments, for whom the NBC says that the case is ready to go for interview scheduling at the consulate, but months go by. And Maria, I think you brought up a really great point. And sometimes we need to explain to people and to clients the distinction between what is the actual law and how things are supposed to go,
Yes.
what actually happens in real life. And this is a perfect example of, a case being ready to go, being ready to be closed out. But in practice, is that actually happening? And this situation that Maria is describing is ubiquitous. Everybody in lots of different countries are going through this. So it's, again, could this continue in the next for the next administration, in the next term? It will be devastating.
Absolutely.
Will be devastating for families, businesses, universities, etc. So
I just have to say, we remain hopeful and do what we can to calm our clients. I think that's really been the majority of what I've been doing with my clients. Everything is ready to go. They're ready for an interview. We've done our job. So at this point, it's just seeing how things are going to go, because the proclamation about non-issuance of the visas is, valid until December of this year. So with elections, I think we also will know where we stand with that. So I really hope that we'll be able to provide better news for our clients, and hoping that they can be together, families reunited. That's what America is about, welcoming immigrants. So, I really hope that that would be something that will happen in the very near future with all of our clients. And anyone who's watching, we're here to help and explain. So please feel free to reach out to us with any questions.
Yeah, and with these travel bans in place, and with, for example, in New York, there's, closures in different areas. Certain parts of the country are going under lockdown again. I can tell you in Italy right now, there is now a curfew at night. So things, with Corona are also affecting immigration. Paulina Iribada, thank you so much for your comment. Hello, ladies. Thank you for doing this. How do you see the employment-based visas in the near future, given the increased level of unemployment in the country generated by the pandemic?
Great question. Elektra, I'll let you handle this. You know all about it.
So this is actually a really great question. In our New York office, we actually are very well known for employment-based non-immigrant visas and visas. So I work almost all the time with entrepreneurs, artists, creative professionals, people who have maybe non-traditional work. So in the unemployment in the country, it is really done, or at least what I'm seeing, by sector. So for example, in the theater industry, we know, or at least it's been published in the press, that previews on Broadway are supposed to start in March. Although I did have a conversation with a Tony Award Broadway producer who has confirmed that this will not happen, that these previews are not going to occur. So obviously this is not in the press yet. This is just information that we know from people who are actually working in the field. So unemployment in theater has kind of shifted to actual non-traditional employment. So they're no longer performing on actual stages. They're doing taped readings. They're doing virtual auditions, virtual performances. So in the theater sector, the unemployment is unemployment in the traditional sense, where they're not performing on stages, but they are performing virtually. For my musician clients, yes, they are not going into venues. They are not performing live, but they are undergoing partnerships with those venues to perform online. So there is a lot of unemployment. I have to look at the numbers specifically for each specific industry to actually see what's happening. But for different creative industries, I can tell you that they've really stepped up their game and they are working remotely. I also represent investors and entrepreneurs in the construction world here in New York, and I can tell you they are working. So I'm not sure. I wish I could give you a very specific answer and say that there might not be a possibility for specialized international workers to come to the U.S. But the answer to this question is very industry specific. And the industries that I work in, so the different arts industries, the construction industry, there is unemployment, but it hasn't been so that the industries have died. The industries are working really hard to make sure that people are working. Even the film industry, our clients who work in film and TV, they are working on set with all of the COVID precautions. There is actually a designated COVID person on set to break up large groups of people to make sure that there's social distancing. So I want to really shout out all of the entrepreneurs, all of the investors, all of the international workers who are making it so Americans and immigrants can continue to work in spite of this really devastating international pandemic.
Yes, completely. But I recall reading that some of the employment-based visas are still welcome, and they are being processed, especially now during the pandemic. That's what I recall reading. So correct me if I'm wrong. This is your area of practice more than mine.
Well, what you're talking about is the consular level. So the bands that are subject to different employment-based visas. So, for example, there is something called the NIE, where you can get an actual waiver once you are at the consulate for your consular interview. But for O's and for E1s and E2s, you can still come to the U.S. and work. The issue is the consulate. So for people who are currently located in the U.S., if you want to do, for example, a change of status, you can absolutely do so. If you plan on traveling, I suggest you speak to a licensed immigration professional who can guide you as to what's going on with the consulates, because this is a very tricky time to be traveling, and you don't want to be stuck if your family is located here in the U.S., especially for those blended families. I've got clients who've got a U.S. citizen-born child, and they're on a work visa.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's getting an approval here while you're in the United States. It's easier rather than going back and going through the embassy in order to obtain your visa. And I think it actually is similar to the situations I have with the family law. Anyone who is already here, they're eager to start the process because they're afraid to really go back to their home country, and they're afraid with the embassy closures not be able to join their significant others. The unknown is just so great. Everyone just eager to be here and to do it now.
Exactly. And I think that you brought up an excellent point that often goes overlooked, especially by different types of immigration attorneys. So there are ways for you to get your legal status in the U.S. without leaving. There are different ways to be able to do so. You don't need to break up your family and go to the consulate, get the visa if you're subject to a ban, if you've had a deportation order against you, if you've entered without inspection. If you are married to a U.S. citizen or have a U.S. citizen child, or married to a legal permanent resident, there are ways for you to adjust your status here in the U.S. without ever leaving. And this is, for example, something that some attorneys overlook when they're talking to clients, because right now it is so important when you go in for your consultation with your attorney that the attorney presents all the different options for you so that you really understand the steps that you're taking, because these steps are going to affect your business, your family, and your life. This election is going to be life-changing for so many people, for immigration attorneys, for businesses, international businesses, and for families that are here.
Yes, I completely agree, and it's a great topic, and we can speak about it for hours. And unfortunately, we don't have all that time. But it's difficult times, unknown times, and we will do our best to answer all the questions and help our clients through these unknown times. We're all going through this. One day is one change, and then another change. It's just like a roller coaster of emotions when it comes to the new regulations that are coming out. I mean, it was quiet for 2 weeks. I said, Elektra, something. I think I just spoke with someone, and I said, I'm just not believing that it's been so quiet. And then, I think yesterday there were news coming out about more changes to the asylum. So I jinxed it. I said, oh, no, I will not mention it again. So it was a little bit quiet for a while. But there were a lot of changes, especially in the last year. So you want to make sure that you have a consultation with an experienced attorney who would be able to advise you properly on all these changes. It's really hard to keep up. Sometimes I am not able to go through my 1,000 emails of changes that you receive on daily basis. So we here to help you out and answer all your questions, and what this election will bring, and what may happen and may not happen, depending on what happens after the elections.
Exactly. And I think that this is a great point. I think that it's amazing that we are ending off on a spirit of hope. For those of you who are watching live or watching the replay, be hopeful, because there are excellent immigration attorneys out there that will be able to help you successfully navigate and obtain your dreams and your goals of being with your family, of running your business, and of working and doing your job. So we've been live for 25 minutes, and I know everybody is busy and everybody has a lot of stuff to do. So I want to thank everybody who has watched us and who asked really interesting and important questions. And I hope that we can come back to you in the next couple of weeks with really positive news and positive changes. But for now, be vigilant, be diligent, and if you have any questions, reach out to a licensed, experienced immigration attorney.
And don't give up. Keep pushing. That's what we do every day. So we're here, and we'll be able to assist you and push through with you and support you in every way that we can. Immigration attorneys are in for a fight, and we are fighting. So
that's great.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Inara.
Thank you. Later. Bye.